science, technology, engineering, and mathematics program, which is known as STEM knowledge translation faucet, where we empower learners across African universities to transform STEM knowledge into practical solutions for real-world challenges facing Africa. The framework fostering a culture of innovation and problem-solving within the African STEM community. Our objectives are clear. Provide learners with a structured approach translating their STEM knowledge. Encourage innovation and critical thinking among STEM students. Incentivize learning through our Learn to Earn program, where students earn Actuate tokens. Promote the development of solutions that directly address Africa's unique challenges. The Learn to Earn program is a key component, rewarding students for their knowledge acquisition, retention, and application with Actuate tokens. These tokens serve as both an incentive and a means to further their projects. With this faucet, we aim to see innovative solutions that tackle issues like energy, agriculture, health, and technology, all while nurturing a new generation of problem solvers. Join in the Actuate knowledge translation faucet, part of change. Transform your knowledge into real-world impact and contribute to Africa. Improve your potential. Innovate for Africa. To the Actuate Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics program, which is known as STEM Knowledge Translation Faucet, where we empower learners at African universities to transform their STEM knowledge into practical solutions for real-world challenges facing Africa. Our primary goal is to equip students with a framework for translating their STEM knowledge into actionable solutions. We believe in fostering a culture of innovation and problem-solving within the African STEM community. Our objectives are clear. Provide learners with a strong approach to translating their knowledge. Encourage innovation and critical thinking among STEM students. Incentivize learning through our Learn to Earn program, where students earn Actuate tokens. Promote the development of solutions that address unique challenges. The Learn program is a key component, rewarding their knowledge acquisition, retention, and application with Actuate tokens. These tokens serve as both an incentive and a means for projects. We aim to see innovative solutions that use energy. Join us at the Actuate STEM Knowledge and be a part of the change. Transform your knowledge into real-world impact and contribute to a brighter future for Africa. Empower your potential. Innovate for Africa. The Actuate Mathematics program is known as STEM Knowledge Translation Faucet, where we empower learners across African universities to transform their STEM knowledge into practical solutions for real-world challenges facing Africa. Primary goal is to equip students with a framework for translating their STEM knowledge into Our objectives are clear. Provide learners with a structured approach translating their STEM knowledge. Encourage innovation and critical thinking among STEM students. Incentivize learning through our Learn to Earn program, where students earn Actuate tokens. Promote the development of challenges. The Learn to Earn program is a key component with Actuate tokens. tokens serve as both an incentive and a means through their projects. All while nurturing a generation of problem solvers. Join the Actuate STEM transition faucet and be a part of change. Transform your knowledge into real world impact and contribute to a brighter future for Africa. Empower your intent. To the Actuate Science Technology and Mathematics program, which is known as STEM Knowledge Translation Faucet, where we empower learners across African universities to transform their STEM knowledge world challenges facing Africa. Our primary goal is to equip students with a framework translating their knowledge into actionable solutions. We believe fostering a culture of innovation and problem. Our objectives are clear. Provide learners with knowledge, encourage innovation and equip program where students earn Actuate tokens, promote the development of solutions that directly address Africa's unique challenges. The Learn to Earn program is a key component rewarding students for their knowledge acquisition, retention, and application with Actuate tokens. These tokens serve as both an incentive and a means through this solutions that tackle issues like energy, agriculture, and technology, all while nurturing a new generation of problem solvers. Join us in the Actuate STEM Knowledge Translation Faucet and be a part of the change. Transform your knowledge into real-world impact and contribute to a brighter future for Africa. Mathematics program, which is a STEM Knowledge Translation Faucet, where we empower learners across African universities to transform their STEM knowledge into practice for real-world challenges facing Africa. Our primary goal is to equip students with a culture of innovation and problem-solving within the African STEM community.
Hello, everyone. Let's get started. Frida, how are you? How are you, Frida?
Good. Hello.
Okay. All right. Is it good? We can get started.
Yeah, I can see Augustine here. Augustine, hi.
Apparently, Augustine has been in touch with the topic master until a few seconds ago, and the topic master has requested to be shifted to another session due to an unexpected occurrence. So I don't know how Augustine is handling that. Maybe we can let him tell us about it.
Say something occurred, unexpected occurrence.
Yes, right now.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Augustine.
Hello, everyone, and good evening.
Good evening.
Around 7:50, just received a message from Gloria. She's a Nigerian, so it's what she said. What time am I expected to start speaking? Can my speaking be shifted to tomorrow? There was an unexpected occurrence. Can anything be done about this? I am sad this is happening. I will definitely be available for this. Then she's offline. I called her, she's offline. Don't know what's happening. So it's unfortunate.
Okay. Well, we cannot shift to tomorrow because tomorrow is another day. We do something different. Mhm. This is glorious. Something unexpected happened in Nigeria. All this unexpectedness means, well, we still do distribution because distribution is a very, very important topic. As we're talking, I think that last week, but one, we talked about the distribution for biomedical translation, which is now we're going to do distribution in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. All right. So Augustine, maybe you have some introductory remarks, then we can discuss distribution.
Okay, Doc. Thank you so much, Doc. And once again, I'm so sorry about this. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making time to join us today again, this Friday, as we discuss distribution stage in STEM knowledge translation and commercialization. This is Actuate STEM incentivized learn to earn session. So welcome once again. And I think we can make it more interactive. So it won't be one person talking. Maybe I will just invite Doc to set us a pace and start engaging. Feel free to raise your hand or even type your question or your contribution, your insight, so that we can listen, engage more. So I will invite Doc to take us to set us a pace, and then after this interactive session, I think I will give summit announcement, and then we'll wrap up the session. So, Doc, you're welcome.
Okay, you can hear me all right. There was some people driving lawnmowers outside, which are very loud. But I think they have silence. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Doc, we can hear you.
Okay, distribution. Distribution is what is otherwise known as market creation. Remember, there's two words there, it says market and creation. Creation is the work of God. As you know, what happened in Genesis 1. It's about creation. You see, so God created the earth and the heavens and the earth in 6 days. So, and somebody who goes into distribution has to have the spirit of a creator. Okay, so you understand that it's very, very hard work. In fact, distribution is the hardest of all the jobs in translation science, because distribution involves convincing people that your product is good for them, so they can adopt your whatever you're distributing, technology, let's say. So, and this is where a lot of people in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics flop. Because you can have some very brilliant engineer creating a very brilliant, excellent, intelligently built widget. And because the widget looks as if it's very intelligently built, then the engineer thinks that people are just going to like it just because it is very, very smart thing. So smart device doesn't mean that the people, or let's say the market, is going to like it. So how do you distribute a product? So much has been written for the longest time. And people like Malcolm Gladwell say that in order for you to distribute the products so that people will love it, to reach what's called the tipping point, or if it was in flight engineering language, to talk about the takeoff, where you can get the runway that the flight takes off, or if you are in crypto space, where you call shelling points, that's software engineering. All those points means when the product has taken foothold in the marketplace. And then Malcolm Gladwell calls that the tipping point. Tipping point is very, very hard to reach. And the tipping point is where all what you're trying to distribute becomes adopted by the market. Everybody in the market wants to adopt. So you need to understand that the hardship of it is supremely hard, because when you're creating a technology, that is all technical work. It doesn't involve other people. It's you and the machine, man and the machine. But distribution is now man and the society, man and people. And there's nothing more complex than human beings, other human beings, because you have to gain the attention, to gain attention of human beings, so that the person pays attention to your products and stays with your product for at least even half an hour, let alone 1 hour, let alone 1 day, let alone 100 days in a year. Just a few minutes. It's very, very hard. So what's called distribution in the modern language is also known as attention. How do you get people to pay attention to your products? You cannot get people to pay attention to your products. You pay attention to the people. So by you paying attention to the people, they pay attention to your products. See that? So it is kind of paradoxical. You don't begin by trying to tell the people to pay attention to your product, and you begin by paying attention to the people so they can pay attention to your products. That technology of paying attention to the people, getting to know them, getting to know what makes them tick. What makes them tick is not even their need, is that what moves them. That technology is what I was saying the other week. Stuart Hart called radical transactiveness. You have to transact radically with the people so that you are in with them. And that means that you are dwelling inside them, indwelling. So the principle of dwelling inside them. So if you're dwelling is not even inside them, dwelling among them, you have to dwell among the people to create a market, to adopt. Because a lot of people misunderstand that market creation is going to do what they call market. I'm getting disturbance from all this. Can you hear all that noise? It was just disturbing me. So much noise outside. Yeah. Yeah. Augustine, can you hear a lot of noise out there?
Not really, Doc.
Oh, it's just disturbing my ears. I can't even hear myself. There's some loud machines out there. So indwelling. So that's the first stage. Dwell among them so that they may dwell into your product. See, it is almost this principle of give. And when you give, you receive. The principle of, the principle of giving. So this indwelling is that if you don't let go to them, you can. So what Stuart Hunt was doing, I was saying at Cornell University, was teaching young business students to go and live in Kibera, in the slum in Kibera, so that they can learn how to sell products to people in Kibera. But still, he would require them, those who are his graduate students, to go to Kibera and stay there for a period of 3 months in the slums. They have to stay in a house in the slum, they have to live there, sleep there, eat there, so they can know how those people, what makes them tick, let's say, how they wake up in the morning, how they make their breakfast, what they do during the day, where they go to work, where they work, say in the industrial area. And by doing that, by dwelling upon them, when Stuart had theory of radical transactiveness, that he is now the person who wants to create a new market among those people is immersed within, say, the people of Kibera, so you can know what people of Kibera like to buy, and then you can sell to them. You cannot know what people need by doing focus group meetings. You cannot even know by asking them a question. You have to live within them. You have to dwell upon them. So that thing of dwelling upon people so that you can know what they need, so that you can actually know how to distribute products to them, has the quality of a skill. For example, if you want to know how to play soccer, you cannot learn soccer by watching soccer on television, or even listening to the radio commentator describing, describing some soccer players, describing the game. You have to get into the field. You have to be immersed in the field. So distribution, first of all, you are an engineer or a scientist, whatever you're creating a product, and you want people to know your product, you have to dwell among them, so you know exactly. Even before you create that product, maybe you have created the product already, but you can't know how whether people will take it. Even if you can't know, it's called knowing. You can't know that people will take that product unless you live within them. For example, it's like you can't know how to play soccer without playing soccer, without going to the field and playing it. That's what's called radical transactiveness. Yeah, it's like you can't know anything unless you're fully immersed. So it's a philosophy of immersion. So that's the first thing. And I gave you an example last week that Safaricom, in order for Safaricom to distribute M-Pesa, Safaricom, first of all, which is a European company owned by Vodacom, it had to be immersed in the community, very, very deeply immersed in the community. And I give you an example that Safaricom had people they were calling agents, M-Pesa agents, and they distributed hundreds upon hundreds of, they recruited hundreds upon hundreds of M-Pesa agents throughout the country. There was an M-Pesa agent every 5 minutes that you walked. And so because the M-Pesa was totally new, it was nothing that people had seen before. So they were not distributing a product that people knew, or even they knew they needed. People didn't know they needed M-Pesa. That's when you're distributing something, anything, you do not assume that people will take it because it's beautiful. So to get M-Pesa adoption, Safaricom had to recruit hundreds upon hundreds of agents. And how did they make it work? Because it's a very expensive process. Distribution is the most expensive process for any product. But then you can have participation of people so that it doesn't become expensive, becomes shared. And that is what Safaricom practice, what they call co-creating, market co-creating, creating the market together with people. As you know, that when people want to distribute a product, they take about 5 different ways of communicating, why people should adopt their products. One of them is telling, by buying television commercials. And in television commercials, they'll be telling people, if you drink this beer, it's going to make you very happy. That is Kenyan breweries. They say you take 2 beers and you'll be very, very good to go. That's maybe selling for something it may be working for something that's already known. But when you're when you're introducing a new product in the market, that does not do it. You don't get adoption of anything by even buying television commercials or even buying billboards or buying advertisement in newspaper. What you do is that you have to get in and live among the people so that the people can actually begin experiencing the product with you. And you, at that time, you're also experiencing the product. Because a company like Safaricom cannot be experiencing the people itself because not a human being. So what Safaricom would do is to delegate that work to people who they call agents. These agents, what they would tell people, they recruit people in the community and they tell people that we're going to give you a free M-Pesa account and maybe the Safaricom deposit the initial money. And then if you start transmitting money, you start earning percentage. So first of all, those M-Pesa agents get training. So you train people. So you may not have a lot of money, as much money as Safaricom to do that distribution, but you want to make sure that you have a way of getting people so that you can distribute your product through them. Yeah, by them actually distributing the products for you. By adopting, first, those people have to adopt the product. When they're adopting the product, then when they adopt it, they are going to help you get the product adopted by the people who are their friends, their customers. So that whole philosophy of distribution mechanism is known as co-creating. Because I told you the first way is to advertise, it doesn't help. And I don't think you ever saw many commercials on M-Pesa, people, telling you about M-Pesa when it was coming up 2005, because it was very, very personal. So distribution in the very initial stages is very, very personal. It's one-to-one, it's a peer-to-peer, because it's about experience. It's just how you learn how to play soccer. You cannot learn how to play soccer by looking at it from outside. Like, you have to be immersed in it. So it has the same structure as a skill. That is what's called knowing your market. Like, somebody asks you, do you know your market? You can only know your market if you co-create your market. So there are certain companies that are very, very clever and very smart about that. Not only do they do that on a continuous basis, even if they are fully advanced, companies like Toyota, its distribution model is co-creative. Toyota does not create something all by itself. It creates the market. Even the product itself, it creates the product with the people, with the users. So the users are involved from the word go. So what means that if you want to distribute your product, you have to think about the users from the beginning, so that it's not that they're going to help you design the product, but they're going to help you adopt your product into the market. The market adoption is not your job. The market adoption is the job of the market. So that's what it looks almost contradictory, because you think that it is your job to make the market adopt your product. No, it's the job of the market to adopt your product. If you understand that, then you're not going to be pushing the market to adopt your product. You are going to be pushing to know your market from inside through the process of immersion. And that's companies that have been successful throughout, even individuals who are successful throughout the ages, you say hundreds of years. Organizations like General Electric, Apple Computers, say adoption of the iPhone, like this, the smartphone, was not done by careful advertisement, beautiful advertisement all over there. It was, it happened through immersive techniques where you go into the people and dwell among the people, and then the people adopt your ideas. I think people who have done that very well are the faith-based organizations. So like they call missionaries. When they said missionaries to the communities, for example, the Catholic Church spread throughout Africa, not by buying advertisement on television, but by dwelling inside the community. See that? Become missionaries. So the work of distribution is the work of a missionary. It's a mission that you are there within and among the people. That is why it's expensive. Because to be a missionary, it means that you have to go and live among the people. You have to find the food to eat, like where do you stay? What do you eat during that time? And how do you meet your your daily bread, food and shelter, your needs during that phase? So it's the same thing as the church. You see, this is why the church has survived for years, hundreds of years. Maybe Catholic Church, or perhaps maybe more than 1,000 years, because of its distribution system is very, very immersive. Yeah. So, but companies that get close to that level of immersion have managed to reach the markets that are unshaken. That you don't know, you don't see them buying advertisements, but you wonder how are they spreading. Okay, so that's what's called distribution. Now, so the next thing is, how do you fund that? How do you fund that distribution? And it is, if anything, I want to give you examples so that you can see it is not not inhibitory. It's not so, it's not something that is impossible to do. I give you example, like what Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg did to distribute Facebook. And then we have talked about this. Facebook is a technology, mathematics, algorithm technology. How he studied it in a dorm room, but then a very massive process. He invited his friends, initial friends, to join the Facebook. And then when that thing spread, because he was highly immersed, he was fully 100% there. So you cannot be having some parts of you outside. You're fully immersed. So it's that level of immersion that gets transmitted to people you're working with. They can see that you're very, very immersed, and then they want to get immersed with you. But then you have to be explaining to them what you're doing, showing them. So that's what he did. So then we got the baseline college where Mark Zuckerberg was going to school. And during the week, they're attending classes. During the weekend, they go to the next university and meet other students. And then they would spend the whole weekend with those students. Because they're students, they know their lifestyle. It's like, say you're in KU, you do all that work together with your KU students. Then the next weekend, you go to the University of Nairobi. But when you go to the University of Nairobi, you're not going to make a presentation at the plenary hall at the University of Nairobi. You go to the dorm, okay? You go to hall 1. In hall 1, you gather guys just after dinner. Tell guys, look at this thing you're doing. See, this is very personal, and you can say it is very direct, that they are not making this presentation in the big conference room, but they're making this presentation at the place where people sleep. It's very personal, in the dorm, in the dining room for the dorms, where people go for dinner in the evenings. And then they did that at the Brown University. Then after they did Brown University, they went to the next one. They went to Yale, Connecticut, the third weekend. And then the fourth weekend, they went to Princeton. You see, by the time they reached Princeton was the 5th place they arrived. Then that phenomenon had moved from East Coast, which is Princeton, all the way to California in the West Coast. So it just distributed itself. But you see, the initial work was very personal. See that? So you find that when you create something, who are in your immediate neighborhood, and then now the problem comes in, how do you get the money to travel from one college to the next? Yeah. So you need to get some at least some money even to buy some food when you are there, when you're outside home, when you're going to meet other people, even if you're meeting them in their own dorms. This is to do the missionary work. Today, that problem goes away when we have quadratic funding. It's going, and this is what everyone who have innovative products, it's not going to be possible to raise money with quadratic funding. And we are going to be diving deep and deep into this until everybody gets that. You must know how quadratic funding works, because that's the way you're going to distribute your innovation with a quadratic funding. Possible to raise money. Quadratic funding, as I've said many times before, is the same thing as Harambee, or the fundraising, the traditional fundraising we do in Kenya. But when you do that Harambee, today they can contribute money in your fundraising, but they don't, that money it has no representation anywhere. So they don't know how they're going to benefit from participating. But with quadratic funding, your money is represented in the marketplace right away. Because, say for example, Mark Zuckerberg was lucky because there were somebody had given him $5,000, okay? And then somebody else gave, guys got that money together, but that money now gets represented into shares of common stock, because there's a market to do that, called capital formation market in the United States. We do not have capital formation system in Africa, okay? But quadratic funding makes that possible. So where distribution can look like a very, very expensive, daunting process, because you have to go from place to place to place, recruiting people. You're not really recruiting people. You're just, you're onboarding people. Let's say onboarding them into your technology or innovation, or you are onboarding your technology. I like to look at it the other way. You are onboarding your technology into the consciousness of those people. Okay? You're onboarding your technology into their consciousness. When you're going from place to place, onboarding your technology into their consciousness, then you need some money, at least to meet your basic needs. And if you have known how much, initially when in the beginning, you don't even know how much money you need, but you may be needing maybe 10,000 shillings to just go to a trip in another town to talk to people there, or maybe to survive the day, maybe in KU to talk about a whole bunch of students and then go to Nairobi University, just that basic money. It's not possible to raise that type of money with quadratic funding. Okay, so those are the initial stages of distribution. And see, that's what's called market creation. You create market by onboarding your technology into the consciousness of others so that they actually know what is going on. And so it means a constant education, that you have to be educating people so that they can know what you're doing. And even when you're talking about quadratic funding, words like that, it requires a lot of education so that people can know exactly what it means. So it's massive, massive education. And another thing that you're going to get is a lot of resistance from people. One thing when you're distributing anything, whether it's new or old, there is a whole bunch of people, which is maybe, which are some people called laggards, according to the adoption of innovation theory, 1962, is that there are people who are laggards. Those people are supremely negative. Because they are very negative, they are always having negative things to say about your innovation. And, you can get discouraged if you're just fighting people like that all the time. They're telling you how stupid your innovation is, how it can also solve any problem. What were you even thinking about making such a thing? First of all, don't even worry about such people. Take no thought about them. Don't let them enter into your consciousness yourself. And that's why you're told, forgive them, for they know not what they say. Forgive them. Now, if you try to take, if you take that thing, if you take offense from such people, now you are destroying yourself. because such people are not, they're not saying negative things to you because they want to be offensive. They have no offense. First of all, know that. That's just their level of understanding. And nobody can rise above the level of understanding. Like there's nobody who can rise above the level of consciousness. So if their consciousness at that level, just know that's where that's how far they can rise. And then you cannot try to pull them up beyond their level of consciousness. And all you can do is forgive them. That's why you're told, resist not evil. Resist not evil. Because if you resist means that at least somebody who's giving you evil, and then you're saying, oh, this thing you're trying to fight it. Resist not. Because as soon as you fight it, it's when it becomes evil. It is not evil unless you fight it. That's why your advice, forgive them for they know not what they say. Forgive them for they know not what they do. Because they cannot destroy your idea. They cannot destroy your innovation. They cannot destroy what you have created by saying evil things or doing evil things about it. They won't even touch it unless you allow them. You can only allow them by considering them to be evil, and then you want to fight against them. You want to show them why your project is good. You don't have to answer anything to them. Don't mind them. Just let them be. Because as I say that, yes, a lot of technologists, particularly people who are creating science, technology, engineering, mathematics, things that are new, people of no understanding or very little understanding, whose consciousness is supremely low, they have a lot of conspiracy theories about whatever you're innovating. Whether you're innovating in biology, whether you're innovating in genetics, whether you're innovating in science, like, okay, let's say internet technology, things like WhatsApp, things like, let's say, Web2 communication, whether you're innovating on the blockchain, whether you're on crypto field, people will have a lot of stupid things to say about whatever you're doing. You must have heard that when you create an innovation, some people are going to say, some extreme ones are going to say, oh, this one is Illuminati. Yeah. Kind of that is something that's exiting Illuminati. I don't even know what it is. But see, even people who are going to be preaching around in the community saying, oh, I can't use that because it's Illuminati. Others are going to say it's Freemason because it's scientific. Or if something is money, particularly, say, for example, you're on crypto field and you are creating blockchain projects and you hear people talking about how they bring some chapters in Revelation about the end of days, talking about the new world order or something like that. Those. What do you do with such people? And I also seen there are some people who are very, very funny, because when the technology, a new technology comes around, and then they say all type of bad things about it, but they're using it. For example, I saw this happens even in universities. There's a lot of misguided people, some sort of culture that's going on in universities in what's called the liberal schools of thought, where people they call them advocates. They are creating advocacy, but against everything. So you can see there are people who are fighting Google all the time, and yet they have Gmail, and they are using Google Meet and all that, and they're saying that Google is from the evil empire, something like that. Some people fighting the iPhone or smartphone, saying that it is used for capturing people's personal data so they can sell it to the devil. Foolishness. And I have seen, particularly in universities, even departments emerging, whole departments, sociology departments coming up talking so much against technology. And what surprises me, I mean, it's not even surprising because you just have to look at those people and say, what the heck? All of them, I've seen you, the most vocal ones, they have got iPhones. And they're making so much noise about, again, it's Apple computer. And the Apple computer is the one that makes iPhones. So they have got iPhones criticizing Apple, saying that Apple is destroying us, finishing us. It's meant to be killing people. So such people, if you are innovating and creating technologies, you have to first of all grow a thick skin, and we know what you're doing is just technology. It's nothing to do with all these kind of things that are that will be found in the end of days. It's called the doomsday or the apocalyptic. Here, there are some apocalyptic people saying that we have come to the end of the world. There are two kinds of people. One is those who are apocalyptic. The thing in any technology that comes is now associated with apocalypse, the end of days. And then there are other kinds of people whose any new technology that comes, they think that's the technology of the age. There is nothing more left to do. That we have invented all the technologies, and now there's nothing else left to do. Don't listen to them. Let me tell you, it's just like saying there are no new babies who are going to be born. Yeah. Well, how is that possible? Oh, it's like saying that all the trees have grown and they're finished. We have finished growing trees. Don't listen to such people. We have not made a dent in the technologies that are yet to be invented. There's so much more. And do not be discouraged by anyone who tells you that we have finished inventing all the technologies that need to be invented. That person also is a person of low understanding. You don't need to explain anything to such a person. Just follow the wisdom of Hermes Trismegistus, the great, who said that the lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. That means don't spend time trying to explain what other new technologies we could invent and why maybe your technology is very new and it has got space in this world. There's so much room for technology. So I think those are the negative things we call challenges. So I would say, in terms of now summarizing the challenges that you find, besides having the challenges about fundraising, you have the challenges of human consciousness, dealing with people and their resistance, called resistance to market. So long as you're aware, there's a whole bunch of people who will not adopt your technology because they just want to resist it, or because they don't have much understanding. Just leave them. These are a lot of other people who have got understanding. And the adoption, the adoption of innovation goes through several stages. And that's why you want to start with groups that you're deeply immersed in the groups, in a small group of people, and you let it grow organically. So it begins with the innovators, the people who are going to be adopting your technology. In the beginning are known as innovators. Why are such people called innovators? It's not because they have innovated the product itself. But remember what you said is you want the product to be onboarded in their consciousness. What we are talking about innovation here in adoption is the innovation in adopting your technology into their consciousness. That's the innovation. So you want them to adopt, you want that technology to get to their consciousness. That is the innovation. And those people are called innovators. And when your technology has gotten into the grasp of the innovators, then the workload gets relieved from your shoulders and move to a second level of people. But then all you have to do is believe that those people, you have faith that they're going to take the project forward. And then from there, you get the early adopters. The early adopters very early, maybe make about 15% of the people, the market that's going to adopt. And so, but innovators are very, very few. There may be 1 to 2% of the market that you would like to reach, or your total available market. They are very, very few. Many projects collapse at that level, because the founder gives up. There are two things that will happen to you when your products begin getting adopted by others. Thing number one is that you start freaking out that you're losing control. Yeah, because you're seeing other people doing your technology, and some people, instead of being grateful, grateful that some people have adopted their technology, they want to control those people who have adopted their technology. Okay, because they are suspecting they are trying to steal they're trying to steal my idea. That's quite foolish, because it goes against the divine law that says, do not judge or you shall be judged. Okay, do not judge or you shall be judged. For whatsoever measures you meet, it shall be met against you. But it doesn't just come as the measure you meet against you. It comes pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That means that your project collapses because you have failed to trust the very people who have adopted your products, or who have innovated. Let's say they have innovated into adoption of your products. But for the smart ones, well, I could say it's not even smart. I think you have to be well gifted. Is you let go and let people come in and help you. I give you two examples, particularly in the crypto, in the blockchain business. Satoshi Nakamoto, when he innovated Bitcoin, he just let it go. You never heard Satoshi Nakamoto anywhere saying that, okay, you guys, I don't like what you're doing with my Bitcoin. Listen, I am in charge here. Listen, I'm in charge. No, instead of Satoshi Nakamoto doing that, he became faceless, nameless, and he disappeared completely. And you see, that's one of the major strengths of Bitcoin itself. He allowed people who are innovate. That's called delegated. Delegated, you have to be willing to delegate yourself. That means that you extrapolate yourself to your innovator community. Now, Vitalik Buterin also in Ethereum network. Vitalik Buterin, he created Ethereum, the second blockchain, which we have our Actuate token. And so many people came in. There was some original innovators. But then among those innovators was some extremely greedy ones. And they wanted Vitalik, they were trying to change the vision of Vitalik. Vitalik did not chase them away. What he told them is that we're not changing the original vision of creating an open blockchain, because there are quite a number of people who wanted it to be private. They wanted it to be privatized, so that Ethereum today would be totally private if Vitalik was misled to listen to some guys. But then when he said that, those guys who wanted it to be private, they stormed away, and that's why we had a huge Ethereum fork to produce two Ethereum. One is Ethereum Classic, and now ETH that we know. So those who went with Ethereum Classic, they went on their own. So you have seen, but what Vitalik did was to allow early adopters to come in and innovate. So many of them, they innovated. They have never stopped innovating. Even today, Ethereum is still growing and growing and growing. You see, and you see, for you to be at that spot, which is an extremely spiritual space, that's a consciousness that is very deep and profound. You want to be in a state which is unshaken, unafraid, and you have to have absolute faith in what you're doing. So market creation is a matter of faith, because the thing you're creating has never been seen before. Nobody has seen it. So you're creating something that is unseen so that it can become seen.
What's that audio? What's your audio?
And so that is really, really hard thing to do. But for all of us, because it means that we are unwilling to let go of, what you call ego. Say that I'm the one who created this, so I have to be there everywhere. The people who are innovating are not going to say that you're not the one who created. They just want to be there and participate and partake and help you do it. So you have to allow them to do it. Of course, with a caution. We're told that do not give what is holy to the dogs. Or hey, do not give what is holy to the dogs, or do not cast your pearl to the swines, because do not cast your pearls to swines, because they will trample all over them, and then after they are done, they will turn around and tear you down. So it means that you have to be discerning even when you are letting go. You're letting people to come in as innovators. There are certain things, certain people, are just dangerous. And those are the people who are coming there because they just want the money. Because when people see a new bright and shiny product, they say, wow, we make a lot of money. When you see such people, and it's possible now for you as an innovator, as creating a product, it's possible to recognize such people. How would you recognize people who are in there just to make money and run away after that? They want to make a quick buck. They actually tell you. So because there are people who are there just to make the great, they say great money, as I heard another day, they're talking to us. They're there to just make great money. I think what you want to do is, if somebody tells you that's such a thing, you don't need to tell him anything. You just know that person does not belong there. Because you want somebody who is aligned with the technology itself and the vision for that technology. Okay, so that's the, you could say that's the early stage when you come to the innovators. After that, you have to continue innovating, because you get the early adopters, and then you get the early majority. Early majority are the people who come in. There are many people now, and that's when the market is beginning to grow. And then you get the late majority. Late majority is when you have your technology has saturated the market. Late majority takes maybe 60 to 70% of the total accessible market, and you have made a big distribution. Again, to come from innovator to the early majority to late majority, then to late majority when you have full market saturation. In the traditional finance system, that means 4 stages of financing. Okay. Now we don't know that in Africa because we don't do that. How do they do it in the capital market forming organized places like United States? So in the very beginning, when you have innovators, in the terms of fundraising, we do something called Series A fundraising. Series A. So Series A, those are early, very early adopters. They come to you, and then you give them shares of common stock. And they have a certain price, and they're called Series A. Then by the time you're coming to the early majority, you do another fundraising because the market is growing. You raise some more money to expand to the new market because you can sense the market is growing. Now you say, for example, you have covered Nairobi University, KU, say all the universities within Nairobi city, the greater Nairobi area. Then you want to go outside Nairobi, you want to go to Nyeri, Dedan Kimathi, or Karatina University, you need another second level of fundraising so that you can now reach a new market. You can broaden the market. So you go to Series B fundraising. So Series B, you issue another whole bunch of shares of common stock and sell it to another group of people. What's the difference between Series A and Series B? Series A comes with incentives. The incentives are, say, like, if initially they are called preferred stocks, Series A. Series A are preferred stocks, and they're preferred because the preferred stock have got a structure of a debt. It's as if you're borrowing money to your investors, and you're borrowing them at a certain rate that you'll give them money when the oil shares become liquid. You're gonna give them some promises and tell them, for every 1 share of preferred stock, it will turn into 4 shares of common stock, something like that. Or you can say, for every 1 share preferred stock, it will give you 15% more of shares. You see, so the promises are not in fiat currency, but they are promised that the shares are either going to multiply or they are going to come in as a percentage. So Series A, because they're the earliest investors, they take the highest risk. Because they take the highest risk, they take the highest percentage. If there's going to be split. So Series A are the ones that will have majority splits. Then Series B, they get less majority split, lesser splits. And then Series C is now when you go into the early majority, which means that you have covered, say, for example, the universities in Nairobi County, and you have covered university in Nyeri County, which is a central province. Then you're going to the Rift Valley. So you're getting late majority. The early majority coming in. Late majority is when you have universities in all the whole country. Okay. So, and you see, therefore, now you would see 4 stages of fundraising: Series A, Series B, Series C. And you see, that has not been possible to do in Africa. We are saying that with quadratic funding, it will be possible to do the same type of thing, Series A, Series B, Series C, so that you can raise money, stage fundraising for your project at every stage as you're growing through the adoption process. See, from innovators to early adopters to early majority through late majority, all the way to the complete market saturation. Then it is at that point, then usually when you got the late majority, that you get initial public offering, IPOs, that are listed in the stock market. And those people in Series A, B, and C make a windfall. And that's the incentive, but they have to come with patient money. It's called patient capital, because between Series A and maybe the last series can be anywhere between 5 to 10 years. Okay. Yeah. But that process is now cut short completely. Instead of it being between 5 to 10 years, on the blockchain, there is no time. I mean, it is immediate. See that? That is why distribution on the blockchain becomes very, very easy to execute. And this is, you can see, this is very high-tech kind of knowledge, and all of you here and all the people in Actuate Nation, we encourage you to study these things very hard, because when the whole thing hits the market, you will not even know what has happened. Just like when WhatsApp came initially, people didn't know what it is, but then everybody's on WhatsApp. See? So we're talking about this funding mechanism getting popular in the market over the next 3 to 5 years, and then everybody will be doing it. Okay? So I think you have great advantage because you're ahead of everybody. I will stop talking because I know that you guys have hundreds of questions, but that's how it is done. Okay? Yeah. That's what is about market creation, new market creation, distribution. it's a very expensive process if you look at it from the long term. I mean, you see, like they had to go through 4 series of fundraising, but it is not expensive. It's organic fundraising in an organic sequence. And there's nothing that has given us more power for organic sequence than the blockchain itself. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. And well, let's have all the questions.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doc, and for that much insightful presentation about distribution, staging, STEM knowledge translation and commercialization. And I think, and I'm so sure that everyone here is privileged to hear you, Doc, and to be here today and learn about this. I feel like it's so special. And this is just a business, the entrepreneurship class, free. So we are so grateful, Doc. This knowledge you're pouring us every day. I don't know. I think you have a doctorate of something like that. I don't know, but that's so powerful. And so members, let's continue engaging. Type your question, raise your hand, ask a question, add a comment, say something about distribution or even business or innovation, basically. And as we expect that, I'd love to just add some few things because Doc touched a lot of things. I think I was trying to, craft something, but I just find like Doc has touched things. That's why I'm so happy and amazed with this. So I would love to just highlight some few mindsets of an innovator. The first mindset of an innovator or an entrepreneur is resilience. And I think Doc has given that in detail, that there are always challenges, setbacks, stressful situations, resistance, people, saying you can't do this, it's not making sense. But if you have a resilience mindset, then you will be able to adapt and bounce back from these challenges. So just know that if you are planning or you are already an innovator, you have to be resilient for you to succeed. The second mindset of an innovator is resourcefulness. Resourcefulness means leveraging what you have and turn limitations, barriers into opportunities. Yeah. Utilize anything you have. Be flexible. I remember sometimes I was working on a certain prototype of a recommender engine fashion industry, profession for boutique. I was working on a certain recommender engine, for fashion market, market trend analysis, and talk about market trend, anything analysis. There must be data there, but access to the real data from the customers is a big issue. First of all, the data might be missing. Those people don't keep records. The business people, the fashion, the boutiques. The other challenge is now, even if there is data, they can't give you. So I remember that time I was trying to pitch that business idea to the investors, but they wanted a prototype. So I had to, came up with a synthetic data for me to, first of all, come up with a prototype before the pitching. So you have to utilize what you have, for you to succeed. You have to have that mindset because challenges are always there. The other mindset is customer centricity. You have to pay attention, just as Doc said, you have to pay attention to your customers. The issue nowadays, I think it's not about advertising, as Doc said. It's not about funding. It's not about regulation issue. It's all about, do you know your customer? Do you know their goal? Do you know what they don't have? Do you know what they want? So you must be able to answer all those, assess all those for you to drive as an innovator, as a STEM innovator specifically. The other mindset is curiosity, of course. And I think we covered all these issues. If you are with us since exploration up to now, during prototyping, we were talking about testing your innovation, going to field, test your assumptions. That's all about curiosity, because when you came up with that idea, you might be you are sleeping or you are somewhere during the night, then something just pop up in your head. So those are assumptions that this customer segment has an issue, has this problem. Those are assumptions. So you have to be curious more for you to test. You have to ask yourself a lot of questions, and it's not usually an easy process. You have to be very, very curious. I know Doc has a big term, a statement of saying that, by the Elon Musk statement about staring at the abyss and chewing. So you will have a lot of ideas, issues, saying assumptions. So you have to be curious enough, and that mindset of curiosity will lead you to have a good number of assumptions that you will test during customer research. The other mindset you have to, the final mindset is collaboration, of course. And a collaboration, no individual is good at everything. That's why, teamwork matters so much. So as well as, as the way Doc is saying that you have to delegate, or you have to give chance for other innovators to grow. The same thing we're saying, that collaboration is important. You have to bring people first on board. You need partners. Maybe you need advertisement. Maybe if you have something like a software you're coming, you need payment partners who will be able to, work with them to integrate the payment system to your software, maybe, and a lot of other partners. The delivery partners, if you are innovating something, maybe a software that is solving transportation issues, maybe within school children and all other things. So those are the mindsets of an entrepreneur or an innovator. You have to be resourceful, resilient, customer-centered, curiosity, and collaboration. Final thing I want to say is that what Doc was saying, by paying attention to the people, brings attention to your product or service. That was so powerful, Doc. And I think everyone has gotten that. And just as I said, nowadays it's no longer about funding issues even. It's no longer about trying to advertise. I hope everyone has heard Doc saying that you can't spend millions advertising something that customers don't even want. So you must pay attention to your customers. And that is, I think we did talk about that during prototyping stage. So that now during distribution, when you are distributing your product, it will be easy for you even to offer education, a very effective education or training for them to adapt your product. So since day one, you started, in the idea inception, you need to pay attention to the problem of your customer for you to succeed. Not the product, not how the product will look like, or whatever the way you are thinking. No, it's all about your customers. And in that, there's something called iteration, and maybe Doc will give more. What is iteration in innovation? You have to iterate your idea for you to succeed. And as I finish, I want us to know that in innovation journey, it is important for you to unlearn. Then after you have unlearned, it's good for you to learn. Then after you learned, you relearn. What do I mean? During exploration, we were talking about unlearning, that knowledge is in tacit dimension, and you have to unlearn for you to see the other side. Otherwise, if you come with your own knowledge, you can't get it well. You have to unlearn first as an innovator, so that now you will be able to see a new gap, the knowledge, the issue, the problem, and be able to come up with an idea. Then you have an idea now. You have seen the problem. You have learned the problem. You have unlearned what you know. Now you have to learn deeply, dive deeper into the issue, into the problem your customers are facing, and also ensure that it's important to ensure that your customers are really facing that issue. Otherwise, you can't be successful. That's learning. And then relearning is all about now iteration. You go there, you immerse yourself, just as Doc said, you immerse yourself into the community, test your assumptions, and then come now and relearn. That is iteration. Improve your product, improve your service. So I think that is it from me. And that's just what I can say about innovation and distribution. Doc has said everything about distribution. So I, at this juncture, just welcome any comment from the participants. If you have any comment, anything to add, any comment about today's presentation or discussion, just feel free to raise your hand or type. Yes. So as I prepare to give the summit announcement, Doc, you can still have something to add, Doc?
Hold on. Am I mute? Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you, Doc.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Augustine. Well, you summarized it well. I don't have much more to add. I think the word I would like to emphasize about distribution, to distribute your products, you have to know your market. You cannot know your market if you do not know how to listen to your market. You listen to your market through a technology known as deep listening. Deep listening. There's deep listening and superficial listening and something in between. Deep listening is the only thing that works. Deep listening comes from indwelling, that you're not listening with your ears now, you are listening with something else. Who would tell me, well, let me first of all explain to you how many of you are there? There's two of you. One of them is the greater one, who is far greater than the one who is in the world. Okay? That one who is far greater is known as your spiritual man. Okay? The one in the world is known as your natural man or your carnal man. So there are two of you. The one in the world with you, you listen with your ears, okay? And you see with your eyes, you smell with your nose, and you you feel with your senses. That's the natural man. But your spiritual man hears with something else. That's something else called faith, the substance of things hoped for. So deep listening is not listening with your ears, it's listening with your faith. That sounds almost impossible to believe or even to understand, to comprehend, that you cannot create market unless you have faith. Faith is that substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And it's by faith that you are able to dwell in circumstances like those students from Cornell University would go and live in Kibera. They only have faith that they are not going to come out of there with cholera. Yeah, but I think that is, it's not actually, I think that's taking it a little too far. You don't have to do that, but they thought they had to do it. But deep listening. So for example, the way Elon Musk creates market for new projects, for example, the Tesla motor vehicle, how does he do it when there's so much resistance from the traditional, petroleum industry and of course, the energy industry, and then he said, we're going to create an electric car. The deep listening we are talking about here is not even listening to other people telling you what is going on. Is listening to that voice that is inside you. You say that listening to the one who is in you, who is far greater. That is listening to hear that what you are creating is something of value. But then when you listen deeply to, let's say, cosmos, if we just put the word, or listen to the universe, I mean, that's the one, listen to the universe. When the universe tells you that you're creating a product of immense value to humanity, and then the humanity responds to you because it speaks to you through the universe. See, that's what we are talking about. That thing is it's very hard to do when you have so much interruption from the world. Let's say from the natural man, from your own self, your own mind, which injects doubt into what you're doing already. Yeah. But I say we have the technology. First of all, that deep listening today is highly aided. You could say, let's say either do the AI plus the blockchain. Yeah. So, and then when you're doing this deep listening, you don't know everything all at once. Like they say, Rome was not built in a day. So when you listen deeply, you get a message. You get a message to how to improve your products, and then you improve it. That's what's called iteration. The iteration is each time, and you have seen, for example, all projects come with multiple iterations. They keep on, and these new iterations are called models for cars. Like you say, Swiss Toyota made the 2021 model is different from the 2022 model. For them to create a new model of a car it's that's called iteration, that they're going back and what they have learned from deep listening to the market, Then they go and make improvements of the products. Even for very early beginning, in the beginning, when you make a product, you want to put it in the market through the process we just described, early adopters going all the way. And when you put in the market, it's not going to be perfect. You still keep your ears of faith. Let's call them the ears of faith. Listening. That is what some people call keep an open mind. I don't know how you can keep an open mind. Do you open your head and allow but the mind is not in the head. But keeping an open mind, meaning that whatever people are saying out there, whatever they are, and it's not even the people saying, yourself, you will be observing how people are adopting that new technology. I mean, this means that you're changing every day. Every day, you're changing every day. That change of every day is called growth. So the growth in knowledge. So that growth is exactly the same thing as the growth of a plant. For example, if you plant maize and you are watering it nicely, watering your maize plants nicely, you come down in a few weeks, maybe there's enough water, enough rain, enough fertilizer, you find the maize have grown. Even you wait a few months, you found they have produced stock. You find you come up with another few months, you find out they have ears. They are producing babies. They are carrying babies on their back. I mean, so do you see that? That thing is called growth. Why is a plant able to do that? Because the plant is listening to the universe, deep listening, and it is responding to the input that's coming. It's not that somebody is telling the maize to grow. Similarly, your consciousness grows just like a plant, okay? And the only fertilizer that you need for your consciousness to grow is deep listening. That thing is called faith. The only thing that stops faith from growing is if you have interference or disturbance with that. What disturbs you is lack of belief. That stop believing in what you're doing because some forces, as you say, the prince of the darkness comes and tells you, listen, what you're doing is complete nonsense. And then you start doubting, and then your thing collapses. Okay, that's what you're told. Have no doubt whatsoever. And your vision is going to bear fruits, just like a plant. Like if you leave a plant growing, say an orange tree, so long as there's right conditions, has enough water, enough fertilizer, good soil, it will bear oranges, no matter what. Okay, so if you have created a product and you want to distribute it, it is going to distribute well in the market, so long as you have that fertilizer called deep listening, okay? And you're giving it. And then each time you're changing, called iterations, that every time you discover something new, having an open mind, because unlike a plant, which is already, I think, is encoded, it's going to grow, the ideas that your innovation is not encoded. But I want to surprise you. That idea is already written in a code in your consciousness. Okay, that's what Christians call grace. Believe it or not, whatever you want to create is already encoded. All you have to do is believe, and then you create it. Isn't that amazing? Whatever you want to create is already there. But what makes it difficult for this kind of thing to manifest, for that market that you want to create, to distribute, to manifest, is because you have something called mind, your own mind, the natural mind, the mind of a man, the mind of the natural person. So it is there in your spirit, but the mind comes to interfere. And the mind can make you believe that what you're trying to do is not possible. If you discard that mind, then you're going to execute. And things are going to fall into place, just like an orange tree grows to produce oranges. Okay? I just want you to remember that and be encouraged. So do not be dismayed by anything. But of course, there's always sometimes natural disasters that can disrupt the process, or even political interference, which is called force majeure by the French people. Force majeure or major force. But except major forces, which are natural disasters, you have within you the ability, fully built, to produce whatever your mind has hoped to create, okay? And to distribute it in the market. It's all built inside you. Okay, and that what is hard, very, very hard, is for human being to accept that, because we are humans, and that we inhibit our own self from accessing the divine person, that divine space where the objects that you wanted to create are already created. Yeah, it takes a lot of humility. Humility, you have to be humble to the process. And that humility is what you would find in people, even like Elon Musk. People think that Elon Musk is very arrogant, but he's a supremely humble man if you meet him personally. And even Vitalik Buterin, the man of the Ethereum network, is very, very humble. He has time for everybody, and he has time for you. But because they have done some things that looks very amazing, and he doesn't have spent a lot of time in public, people might think that people are very arrogant. What they do, they don't have time for small talk. That's one thing. Also, one thing you have to get rid of is small talk. There's no small talk among such people. Even you do not want to entertain small talk, because small talk is just a waste of time. It's just what's called, let's say, it's things that are unproductive. You don't want to spend time talking about nothing, playing, and if you just talk about what you're doing, what's pure science. Remember, you're a scientist. You're there fully. You have to be immersed. As you're talking about immersion into the marketplace, you want to also be immersed into what you're doing, so that you have got double immersion. You're deeply immersed into your knowledge, field of knowledge, so you don't have time for small talk. And you're also deeply immersed into listening to the market, immersed in the market, so that the market gets to know what you're doing. And when the market knows what you're doing, it's going to reward you greatly by, adopting your product. Okay, so that's it. We can speak about this all day, but I think I'm very excited. And of course, I've got so many things, so many calls to respond to. But thank you so much, everyone, for listening, paying attention. But yeah, ask questions and let's stay in touch. And what I would like to tell you is that you will see this process unfolding in Actuate itself. That's why I make myself available, so that it's an immersive process. I have to be immersed within a community for which we are building. If I'm not immersed, I'm giving you, if we can say, let's buy a lot of YouTube advertisements, that will make nothing for the Actuate nation itself. You see? Yeah. All right, back to you, Augustine. Let's talk about the summit briefly before we adjourn.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc, for that, and I hope everyone learned something. And I think distribution is the last stage or phase in STEM knowledge translation and commercialization. So before just, I know we are running out of time. I just want to hear from members. Just want to say something. How is the STEM and session journey for you? Just a short comment. Yeah. So, Salome, if you can hear me, how are you? And, thank you for joining us. How is this learn to earn session, STEM knowledge translation and commercialization? What have you learned? since exploration up to distribution. Salome. Okay. All right. Charity, if you can hear me. Maybe Charity. How is the experience, Charity? Charity B. Liliana Chien. Joy Komen. Joy Komen. Same people dialing and Elijah Masuti. Or is it the issue of unmuting? Veronica McCoy. All right, okay. So I hope you have learned something and you're making, this knowledge you've acquired and hopefully you will be able to be an innovator. I know all of us love being innovators, but I know even those people who plant business, campuses, sold, scattered, but I feel like, and I know I'm not alone, that that unstructured knowledge is now, you came with unstructured knowledge about innovation. I think by now it is structured. And that's our aim here, Actuate, incentivizing all this, and hopefully in future, we are having frameworks to now catalyze this commercialization of your knowledge. So thank you so much. And all right, so as we all know about the Actuate Pre-Boston Nairobi Summit, we're organizing a conference, and it will be dates are from 3rd to 6th December this year, and we'll be discussing, it's a discussion, it's a conversation about how AI, blockchain, and decentralized finance can improve health and human development. And this summit is bringing together people from healthcare, technology, the AI, blockchain, and decentralized finance communities to have a conversation on how these technologies can improve human development and even create an equitable, affordable, and accessible healthcare in future. So as we all know that we are still inviting sponsors, we are still inviting speakers, we are still inviting attendees and also exhibitors. So just I want to echo about or emphasize or remind you that this month we've been focusing on inviting speakers, healthcare professionals, biomedicine professionals as speakers, podium speakers, and the month, a very good outcome, very nice progress, enough number of speakers, and this July we are embarking now fully on a journey of sponsors. Of course, we have gone a little bit, there's a good progress in terms of sponsors, but now we're focusing every month, every category, one category every month. And so this month we're focusing on sponsors, inviting sponsors. We're targeting pharmaceutical industries and even technology industries. So join us, be part of this journey. And yeah, because right now the slot, the speakers are, exhausting it. And now we're moving to now seal the sponsors deal so that now we move together. Seems so far, but it's not far for those of us who are under Dr. Macharia leadership. It's not far. We don't have to be wait. So even if don't be don't be amazed when we finish this issue October. Everything is set because we believe in good planning and working hard enough. So the sponsorship packages we all know, we have Diamond, which is going at $10,000. You can invite sponsor for that and get 5% commission. There is the platinum package. It goes at $7,500. Invite, get 5% commission. We have the gold, which is going at $5,000. We have the silver, which is going at $3,000, and bronze, which is going at $1,000. Also, the exhibition booth to showcase the startups who want to showcase the products and services. There is an exhibition booth for them at $1,000. So let's continue spreading the word. Let's continue this journey. And for you, here we are talking about innovation. There is constant resolution. That's how ideas start. Never know, because one of the issues is planning. So who knows? So submit your abstract as a poster. Just visit our website, interact with it. You can still be a speaker. Visit our website, interact with the guidelines, and apply. And so that is it. And something is that when you interact with doctors, there is a workshop for them. Workshop, disease-centric workshops. It be a diabetes workshop, mental health, cancer, hypertension, all those things. So let's continue spreading, and let's continue learning. Let's continue visiting our website and be part of this community. And I thank you once again for making time this evening, and we are together in this. And let's continue pushing. Let's not give up. Let's continue pushing. Optimistic. Let's be optimistic. Yes. So this is Actuate Learn session. So I'm sharing a form. Take some time to fill form your details. Then from there you fill. Maybe I can just read from Damian saying was nice session. Thank you so much, Damian. Salome says, in fact, this knowledge of innovation is quite good, and through commercialization, we can be able to start something which can help us. Thanks. Thank you so much, Salome. It's the spirit of an innovator. And let's continue being around. Let's continue belonging, and I think within the course of the week, we'll be able to get announcement on the next session, I think. So stay tuned. And yes. So I'm sharing the form now. Just take the time and fill it. So I've shared the form. Just take the time, fill it, and you're free to leave. Thank you so much, and I think session is done. And thank you so much, and once more done.
All right, bye everybody. Have a good weekend, we say. But we have more lessons tomorrow. Hello?
Sure,
Am I-
Doc.
Yes. Am I audible? What I want to encourage everybody, as you've heard, the speakers list is filling up very quickly. So if you have not submitted your name to become a speaker, do it this weekend. Or then after that, there's going to be posters presentation remaining. As you see, there are 4 ways of participating in our summit in December 3 to 6. One way is to become a speaker. So the speakers list is filling up very quickly, and you want to go to the website and see the speakers. We have very fantastic speakers who are going to teach you a whole lot of new knowledge. Just like you're learning a lot of new knowledge in these classes, translation classes, you're also going to learn a whole lot. And this is when we bring the Festival of Knowledge into Africa, because we have been talking politics the whole time. And with politics, the politics is, let's say the politics has no profits. The politics profits just nothing. Yeah, because you don't make anything out of politicking. But you see, the entire African continent is talking about politics. And I think that designed that way so that we don't talk about things that matter. Things that matter to us are those things that put food on our table. And the things that put food on our table are known as knowledge. So that's what we are working on. We focus in knowledge 100%. And we want to change the narrative from a politics conversation to a knowledge conversation. Because we all know, but maybe we don't experience it, that knowledge is power. But knowledge in Africa is not power. Knowledge is powerlessness. But the conversation now is saying it's changing. That's what we call a paradigm shift, where knowledge has been powerless ever since independence or before that. But today in Africa, knowledge has to become power. And the knowledge will become power because we can use the knowledge of technology in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and in biomedicine, and knowledge in arts, all type of knowledge to gain our power back. So this is what it's about. It's a revolution of knowledge. And so come to December meeting, conference, invite everybody you know. Then you have a meeting of knowledge, a festival of knowledge. It's a festival of knowledge. And that's what we wanted. Because so far, the speakers that have agreed to speak, amazing people, very knowledgeable in medicine, except from Department of Psychiatry. For example, people like Professor Detey are coming to speak to us. Detey has been a professor of psychiatry forever and ever since I knew myself, he was still there. He's coming to talk to us about the next way, the next steps in psychiatry in Africa. It's mental health, big deal. And then we do a mental health workshop. It's about, the way we do mental health on Wednesdays, but this is gonna be on steroids because we're gonna have psychiatrists. So coming up. Then we have a workshop on women health. Yeah, it's a lot of women, professional doctors, women who are obstetricians, gynecologists, and women who do social work, in terms of social sciences. And then we have workshops on cancer, big problem cancer we have in Africa. So we have some cancer physicians, professors coming in to talk to us about cancer. It's not going to be a one-day event, those type of workshops. There'll be 4 days that you can agree to participate. You can participate for 4 full days in a workshop, immersive workshops. Then we have workshops on what, endocrine disorders, diabetes, and hypertension. Doctors have signed up, so many of them. Now, then, besides the doctors, we have people in artificial intelligence coming to talk to people in blockchain, cryptocurrency, and people who are building things in blockchain, because you're looking at the intersection between blockchain, artificial intelligence, and health itself. Yeah. So it's gonna be a huge festival of knowledge. This kind of thing has never happened before in Africa, because when you have conferences or summits, we have conference which are one topic only. Maybe you have engineers talking to engineers, or you have doctors talking to doctors, or you have architects talk to architects. You know what that's called? That's called inbreeding. Yeah, when there's inbreeding like that, there is no cross-pollination of knowledge. And when there's no cross-pollination, the product withers. So now we're allowing cross-pollination. So we have reassortment, knowledge reassortment, that we get reassorted. And this is during this reassortment that new things are innovated. Becomes very beautiful. Imagine, it's like being in a music place. Let's say you're a DJ. A DJ makes plays lively by mixing up music. A great DJ knows how to mix to play one song to the next. You see? Yeah. So if you can imagine the music is very well mixed by a good DJ, we are talking about knowledge mixed up like that to produce a very, very good symphony. So that's why I think a symphony, a festival of symphony of knowledge. And don't miss this symphony of knowledge. If you miss it, you just blame yourself. You're already inside it by coming to these daily meetings so that we continue to build up, so that by December, we have something really good to celebrate about. Okay, I will stop talking there. So sign up as quickly as possible, because what happens in these summits, because they're time bound, there's only so many people who can speak or can showcase their work. So, and of course, I've already told you two ways of participating. As a speaker, to make posters, that's good. Third, you can present your workshops. But the fourth and the biggest way is for you bringing sponsors. Now, because the list of speakers is already out, it's on our website, actuate.bio. You go to Nairobi Summit, then you look for speakers list. When you go to talk to sponsors, people who are potential sponsors, these sponsors can be in any industry that you can imagine, because they're human beings. Remember, this is a summit of health and human development. So whatever say, and anyone who owns an industry is doing, whatever they are making is about humans, and they would be very pleased to sponsor such an event. So whoever you know, whether they're in food processing, whether these people are in transportation, whether they're in engineering, they're making say, mechanical products, whatever, or they're in human services. Say, for example, they are in hospitality business. That's about humans. So convince them that this is their place to come in December, so we have a festival coming. Because we're going to be talking about decentralized finance. We are exploring new financial platforms, new way of doing finance, which is far away, which is just a complete departure from traditional financing, which relied on centralized systems, to a new realm of financing, which is decentralized finance, that is peer-to-peer, that is boundaryless, that don't require anybody's permission, totally permissionless. And that is what's most powerful. And then when you inject that in decentralized finance, we talk about innovative fundraising programs like retroactive public good funding, like quadratic funding. Very fascinating stuff we're going to be talking about there. and how to use all that for human development in Africa. Yeah, so amazing stuff. So be there, get ready. And of course, as Augustine said, stay curious, and stay hungry, because blessed are those who hunger and thirst for knowledge, because they shall be satisfied. So said the Lord. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for knowledge. No, for righteousness. Righteousness is knowledge, knowing the right thing to do. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. So be one that hungers and thirsts for righteousness. Be one that thirsts and hungers for knowledge, because you shall be filled. Okay? In December. And even, of course, right now. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I have to get going, but I appreciate everyone coming to these meetings and having great conversations. Amazing, amazing, wonderful people. You have a wonderful evening.